steakhouse. Like Ruth always said, life's too short to eat anywhere else.
Make a reservation online at RootsChris.com or by calling 800-544-0808.
Everybody's talking at me.
Chuck Wilder here, and the original Talkback, and it is my privilege right now and pleasure to go to Bar McKellen. He has a broad experience in business, the courts, and politics. His representation of energy companies showed the impact of foreign oil and the solutions needed to improve America's resources. Well, we'll pick his brain on BP, won't we? He's been involved in deep politics of the presidency as a personal attorney to Lyndon Baines Johnson. McKellen's best-selling book, Blood, Money, and Power, How LBJ Killed JFK, uncovered the conspiracy behind the assassination. A participating attorney for many years, his cases include the Supreme Court orders blocking an expressway and a decision quoting extensively from his opinion for market pricing of natural gas. Other cases include exploding Pintos, tobacco-caused expenses on health care, management union disputes, and business tort cases. Currently, he is a business consultant to several companies, and his latest book, Made in the USA, available at Amazon.com. And may I call you Bar?
Bar is good. Good afternoon.
How are you doing, sir? And, hey, thanks for coming on a few minutes early here. I certainly appreciate it.
Well, it's a privilege to be with you. Thank you.
Well, I got to tell you, you say that if the American consumer buys products and services that are made in America, the benefits are absolutely immediate. Jobs will become available again. Household income will increase, supporting the entire economy that right now is way down there.
Well, if it all could happen so quickly, it'd be wonderful, but I'm afraid it's a last resort since the government's not going to do anything about it.
Bar, what I was saying earlier when I was telling the listeners that you were going to be coming on, I said, boy, it would be great, to start buying. And I know so many people, the majority of the people would say, let's buy things that are made in America. But it's so hard. You see something you like, there it is, China, Taiwan. It's hard to find products made in the USA, isn't it?
Indeed it is, Chuck, and what's even funny is Made in the USA labels are being made in Mexico. I mean, there's no good consistency here. It is really tough to buy Made in the USA product, but you can sure buy from USA companies, and they're the companies down the street from you at home. They're well-known American companies, and that money is going to stay in this country. A lot of it may go out to pay for the products they're buying from overseas, but that's the best way to do it. Another way, of course, is to go to the store and just ask for products there. Usually the managers will have some idea of what's available. Some will even mark it. This is Made in the USA. There are a lot of companies listed on the net. You just go to Made in the USA and you'll get a whole bunch of pages. We've been working with several that concentrate on Made in the USA, such as Americans Working, a good name. Made in the USA, both as an org and a .com, by American. And these can be sources. It takes work, but I think I know it's worth it. And
so, Bar, what do you?
The only thing we got. The government's not going to help us a bit.
Oh, no way. And what are you going to do? You go to the website and you print up something. Let's say, for example, I'm going to go out and get a tank of gas today. All right. Can you go to these websites and say, here is where you're going to find gasoline made in the USA?
I don't think they're going to have the national brands like that. The ones that we'd know would be, for example, Exxon. BP, we know it's from England. Citicorp from Venezuela we can easily stay away from. There aren't that many left that are really strictly American. And one problem with the oil companies, there's always going to be someone that's got a real gripe with them from years ago. I have in my book a guy who would never, ever deal with Chrysler. I was picking him for a jury, and he just stood up there and he said, hey, no way I'd ever do anything with Chrysler. So even if he were dedicated to buying in the USA, that'd be one company he'd avoid. But it is the company ownership that you have to look at. That's will cut through it. Walmart is a good example, really. It is an American company, after all.
Yeah,
it's
from
products come from
Arkansas,
around
yeah.
the world, but they put a good price on it, and that is really the other big sticker when you're going to buy USA. Our costs here are just going to be higher because of taxes and because of employment costs, and you got to accept that. What
and you know,
suggested.
If you look at how many people are out of work and how many families are struggling, and let's say you've got to go in and buy printing paper, okay, or a printer. You know, you can go and pay $129 at a USA company, or you can go to Walmart and you might get that printer for $98. You know what I mean? So you're saying, yeah, so basically the family's saying, hey, you know, it's better to have an extra $40 or so, you know, so I can buy some bread and milk. You know, so they've got an excuse to not buy made in the USA. But wouldn't it be great if there was some way to fix that?
Well, it would be, and one way to approach it, like here in New York City, when they buy from suppliers or services here in the city, they look at a preference, and that preference, if it's more than 10% difference, they have to go foreign. If not, buy here, New York for New Yorkers. Same idea, U.S., United States for United States. And you've got to allow for that. You just can't expect someone to, you know, go broke themselves, especially like when you say, we just don't have people getting jobs. There's no jobs out there. And the tragedy that goes with that, to me, is just unbelievable. How we can sit back and tolerate it, even for the past 2 years, is just unacceptable.
You know, no jobs, and yet we talk about visa, we talk about exporting, and we talk about amnesty. You know, it's like shoot ourselves 3 times in the foot at least, and there's more than that. I just use those 3.
I don't understand that. To me, unless there's some agenda hidden out there that we don't know about that's really going on, and you got to think about that when you're told how smart these people are in Washington and how, you know, they're all from Harvard and they know everything, and yet they're doing things that just don't make sense. The lack of jobs is the thing that just stands out there, and so to tolerate that tragedy is, to me, like I say, unacceptable, and nothing's being done about it. It would be so easy, because what we're talking about on the trade deficit, and we're talking about on the budget deficit, and what we're talking about on the cost of doing business, all comes down to the same thing, and that's reducing the costs on business in the United States. We can't seem to face up to that. We can't know that's what's happened in the past,